My name's Kelly. I'm from California in America, the US, and I'm a teacher and a singer in Taipei.
How long have you been in Taiwan?
I've been here almost 8 years.
And why do you decide to come to Taiwan?
Originally, I had a Taiwanese partner, and we had a baby in America, and then I decided to move here to raise the baby. Yeah, I came here researching for my master's thesis with my Taiwanese colleagues at University of Texas, and then I had met my partner at the time then, and later we were together, and we had a child, and then I decided to be close with his family and to learn Chinese. We decided to bring him here, and we're separated now, but we co-parent, and my son is learning Chinese, so I think it's really important, and also Taiwan's really safe for children.
Okay.
So we've decided to just stay here for the time being.
So how was it like as a foreigner coming into an Asian culture, integrating with the family?
It's very interesting. I think there's a lot of good and bad things, cultural differences, women versus men differences, for being in a Taiwanese family, especially as a woman, joining a Taiwanese family. Yeah.
So would you maybe highlight one or two maybe differences that?
Sure. So I think a big difference that I learned later is hukou, or the family registry. We don't have that in America, so that took a lot of understanding of family dynamic and the family unit, as opposed to America, which is very independent. You know, I'm close with my family in a different way. But in Taiwan, you join this family unit, and so sometimes it's a struggle to get along, especially with an in-law mother or father. And a lot of women, I think Taiwanese women too, who join families, have things that they have to do, right? Limited in their ability to be themselves or independent. They're kind of relied on to be the matriarch or the household person.
Being in Taiwan for 8 years, have you been to other Asian countries?
I have. So I lived in Korea in 2009. I was a Taekwondo instructor. I think I was 20 or 21 then. And I also traveled to maybe 10 other Asian countries while I've lived in Taiwan.
Would you maybe give us a little bit insight of the bit of difference between Taiwan and these Asian countries you've been to?
Most of them have either been East Asian or Southeast Asian. But as far as East Asia goes, there's a lot of similarities as comparison to Southeast Asia. I'd say Southeast Asian, especially Philippines, quite kind, warm. They also speak English pretty well, so that could be, and I have a really Americanized or Westernized culture. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of easy to get along with Filipino people. I really shout out Philippines. Yeah, I know. And but I have a soft spot for Japan and Korea because I live there. But as far as different between Taiwan, I don't think they're too different. Japan was here for 50 years, and then Korea is also Confucian, so I feel like their ideologies and their culture not that dissimilar if you are looking at it compared to America.
You talked about having a soft spot for Japan and Korea.
Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon.
Nice. So if you had the choice to live in Japan or live in Taiwan, where would you go?
Oh yeah, I've thought about this a lot. As my son gets older, right now I don't really have a choice per se, not an easy choice. I think it's best to stay in Taiwan. But when he gets older, I've thought what's good for him? I think maybe doing a year abroad or high school abroad in Japan could be really good for me and him, since I love Japan.
You're talking about cultures and ideologies. What is one main cultural difference between Taiwan and America?
Oh, well, I'll give you more than one.
Okay. Yeah.
I think for me, cultural differences, whether it's a pro or con that I've struggled with, is Chabudo culture. And
Chabudo.
Yeah, Chabudo. And save face culture. Mm-hmm. I think those, as an independent American woman is kind of hard to deal with. Yeah, I'd say those. Chabudo is, Americans are really direct, and yeah, so that's hard for me.
What part of Taiwanese culture do you find mostly interesting?
Oh, I really, really enjoy the mix or the blend of religion or these kind of ideologies. So, for example, they have Amitofo and Buddhism. They've got the Buddhism and the Chinese folk religion with like the Bai Bai, and then they also have the Tao, and they kind of all combined somehow here. And I think it's really fluid, and then all combined is kind of the ideology of Confucianism. So I think that's really special and fascinating. I love that aspect of Taiwan.
Can you speak Chinese?
Oof, not really. I must say it's buhao. Yeah, like I've never studied Chinese since I came here as a mom working straight. I already have my master's in America, so I've never come here as like a Chinese student, right? I think that's the best way to be fluent in Chinese, so I don't have that skill. But my Chinese is just daily. I'd say like things you need. Yeah, that's about it. Food, directions, travel. Yeah, I get by. And now, my son's 8, so it's like, what'd they say? What they say? He kind of helps me. I've learned a lot more. Before a long time ago, I worked kindergarten, so a lot of my Chinese is this kindergarten style. Mm-hmm. I learned all the basics, animals, colors, numbers, all of that. And then living here, I've learned food, directions. And now, like the more complicated things, sometimes I do ask my son. I'm like, I kind of got what they said, but let me just check. Yeah.
Out of the few Mandarin stuff that you learn, which Mandarin words do you find very confusing?
Oh man, okay, you want to tell me a funny story? I remember I learned the word smile from my friend, and I wanted to show my in-laws at the time. I was like, I learned this smile, and I thought it was a really cute word. And so I told them, and then my ex's brother looked at me funny, and I was like, what's wrong? He was like, you said small boobs. I was like, what? So apparently, smile, secret, and small boobs, I can't hear the tone difference, or I can't remember the tone.
How do you say the word?
Oh no, it's like something like Xiao Mi Mi. I don't know which one that is. Don't quote me. I could be saying small boobs. Yeah.
What part of Taiwanese culture do you find hard to adapt to?
I'd say my directness is hard for Taiwanese people to adapt to. Just go the other way.
Other way around.
Yeah, so